to your mother.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
This is probably one of our favorite episodes of the whole year, right? We get to be goofy. We got a big party right after we get done with this. What's the theme this year?
The theme
I don't know if I can take
is
you back here.
your high school self. So kind of mid 80s to mid 90s, depending on, there's a range of
80s
age
characters.
Characters from that.
I basically looked at my high school
win.
yearbook and said, I've done it once, I'm not doing that look again. I'm going to go with somebody else.
I went from last year to being super uncomfortable to super comfortable.
I know, you're like super...
And I'm like, this is so relaxing.
And I dressed up like I was in high school.
you look like you just came from work.
And as soon as your wife said 80s, I said Big Trouble in Little China.
That's shocking.
I'm surprised it's not on the TV behind us.
I already watched it twice today.
Oh my gosh.
Shook the
guys.
pillars of heaven.
What is going on with this review? I think we got an
we're
appropriate
gonna drink
bottle,
scotch too,
right?
That's
It is.
awesome.
We got an appropriate bottle for this.
What
one.
is it?
Hedonism.
Hedonism. Hedonism. Depending on who you
Hedonism.
talk to.
Yeah.
All grain. Compass
All
box.
grain blend.
Lowland
So
whiskey. Fantastic.
completely
I
different
understand. I
from
understand.
pretty much everything else we've ever done, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about
I am
this,
too.
right?
I mean, this is pushing us outside of our norm, and it's Compass Box.
Yes. So what Compass Box does is they take grain, typically quite old grain whiskeys from different lowland distilleries.
There we go.
And then we were trying to find the information on this. This is probably a 17 bottling. They only do it once a year. They only bottle this one week a year. And the bottle numbers that we have, the batch number isn't on their current website, which is the 2018 bottling. So this is probably a little bit older bottle. And that blend will vary year to year.
Sure.
Because
Sure.
they're trying to match the flavors and depending on what's
Wow.
available to them. So this is all grain.
What coin number we got, guys?
Well,
90, right?
1990.
Coin number 90 on the Halloween episode.
I will say we've had one other blended grain whiskey that was made from older grains. We tried one. We were at Vine and Table, and it wasn't what I thought it would be.
No.
So I'm looking forward to this glass.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever reviewed an all grain.
No,
All grain scotch.
So we know for a fact
Light,
this is natural
obviously.
coloring. 'Cause,
And it's come.
John-
Oh, what's the ABV on
It's
it?
pretty
though?
clear, too.
Probably gonna be high.
43 ABV.
Oh,
All
pretty
right.
low then. Okay.
Yeah. Now this is something that's normally around the 100 to 120.
Well, it's in the $100 range.
$100 range.
Yeah.
okay.
I was traveling. I'm not even sure where I was going to. I was traveling. I picked this
For
up.
work.
It was for work, and I found it in some little dusty shop somewhere, and I found it for $92. So I thought it's a pretty good deal.
That was a good deal.
And we have not had it yet, so.
I think it sounds kind of, or smells kind of, smells kind of soury. It's kind of sour mashish.
Well, I'm getting like rice, or I mean, it's really a
Yeah.
light. There's no there's no malt in this. It don't smell
Well.
any malt.
You're a genius. Yeah. You're so insightful.
And some of these are even first fill or like new oak barrels. So we don't even follow the old adage of new
Pleasant
barrels.
nose though. I mean, it's light. It's a little fruity.
High expectations from John Glazier, because anything less than the best is a felony. You know what I'm saying?
Good lord! Did you really do that?
Shook the pillars of heaven.
Man, you need to walk this way, son.
I'll tell you what.
That's what I'm talking about, Chief.
Sorry.
I know you are, but mine.
I hope you guys enjoy this.
I
It's
like the
got a
nose.
light flavor.
It's nice.
Goes down
A
smooth.
little toffee on the nose.
It's
What is it? I need the flavor wheel.
the finish is just a clean finish.
Yeah,
there's-
there's some like juicy fruit, or there's some fruit
Very juicy fruit.
in it. Yeah.
Boy, that is super quick on the palate and the finish though.
Yeah.
Like
Touch
it hits you up
drawing.
front with a nice juicy fruit punch,
And
a little bit, tiny bit of malt, and then
I don't taste anymore. I get that juicy fruit and then just taste the whiskey in the end.
And it
There's
dries
no-
out.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
no
drying
flavor.
mouth.
It
Yeah.
does have a drying
it's a
quality
very
to it.
light scotch.
It's real quick. You know what I mean?
It's really not viscous either. I mean, honestly, when you
No.
look at it, it's amazing how it really just runs
It's-
down fast.
Yeah, there's
Completely
no.
different. This is definitely outside of my
Not my
my
wheelhouse.
norm.
The second drink is better. I got more maltiness on that one. I
How are you getting malty?
or not all malty, but
How are you getting malty?
I'm getting malt on that.
Well, it could be. I mean, if they're used barrels, maybe he's pulling from the barrel. I mean, it could
Maybe it's
be,
the
I don't-
wood or something kind of meaty. I think it maybe is the wood barrels in that
There's,
one.
to be honest, there's not a whole lot flavor profile wise. I think clean is probably the
Sure.
most descriptive thing I can think of to describe it. But yeah, I'm with Drew. It's got like a juicy fruit, almost like a saccharine sweet.
Yeah,
You know what I
saccharine.
mean? Kind of tang on the front. The finish is clean. You know, it doesn't have a coating quality in the mouth. I mean, it's very. It goes down smooth, and that's about it. I mean, there's nothing off-putting about it, but
Water?
there's. I'm not finding a whole lot of other qualities to
I've done water.
kind
yeah.
of set it
I don't-
apart.
It's probably not
So
going to
even
hold
the
water
box-
too well.
Even the box doesn't have that many flavors on it.
Yeah, you know, I still on the nose I get a sour mash smell, and actually,
Way too much
I mean, almost as if you're smelling something, you know, a grain that's a little on the green side. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
So okay,
The
so let's
water
talk about
helped.
though. There's definitely the alcohol isn't burning. Normally
No.
with a young whiskey you get that bite of a especially with a grain that and where you can smell the grain. And I don't smell grain on this. I mean, it's not like you think like a Johnny Walker where you can definitely smell there's grain whiskey in there. This is not like that at all. It's weird.
Yeah.
The second drink, the palate lasted a lot. You're right. It definitely became more full on the second drink. God, it is short though.
Yeah.
It's definitely a quick sipper because the finish does not hang around for a long time.
Man, this is super light, but it's a pleasant light. It's not like it's like all like crazy sweet and that's it. It's a nice blend of the sweet to the I think it's a wood finish I'm getting.
I will say that it's
Your American
got.
oak, that's it. Yep.
Yeah. It's
vanilla.
got. I think the vanilla and the oak are the dominant
Yeah,
flavor profiles. I mean, you know, usually grain whiskeys are fairly neutral spirits,
This is
and
very
that's
cool.
what I think of when I think, you know, oh, they
Right.
mixed in, you know, a grain spirit into some single malt to make a blended whiskey. You know,
Which
it's
is
going
why
to be
they
a
do
lighter
that.
whiskey because of that. You know,
Exactly.
And the grain spirit is going to give it. You know, it's not going to mess up the flavor. It's going to just dilute it. This has flavor of its own, but it's
A little
not. But it's not. Yeah, super strong flavors.
Yeah.
it's
So
interesting.
So I think I'm ready to go. So this is a hedonism,
Molly.
$100 a bottle, 43% ABV. One thing that's I think unique about this, you know, none of us are getting any rich flavors out of this. It's not my wheelhouse for sure. But if you compare it to a cheap grain whiskey, that's all nastiness and sour and awful and
That's a good point.
turpentine and all that really not good flavors that you get. This doesn't have any of that. This is
No.
a clean
Quality.
spirit. So while it's not my wheelhouse, I'm not going to give it a great score either because it's just not something I would probably keep on my bar because you give it to somebody, they're like, what's here? I mean, especially if you don't know what you're doing, this is like, is this vodka? I mean, not quite, but it's really that clean that wouldn't be. I don't think I would keep it on
Oak
the bar.
flavored vodka.
All right.
Slightly oak flavored. I'm gonna give it a 2 because I will absolutely drink it. If I'm poured this, I will drink it and enjoy it and not even think twice about it. If they have it on the bar and it's a good price, I may even consider getting it because it is such a clean, light summer kind of scotch. But it doesn't have. It's not what I really love, and it's $100 a bottle. So I'm giving it a 2.
It's getting better. It's getting better as it sits here. I agree with you. It's super light. It is a better quality compared to some of the lower other grains we've
Very
had
much, yeah.
for sure. I'll give you that. It's a nice, light, semi-sweet to semi-wood finish. And then it's a quick palate and a quick finish. I mean, it's something that I think you're going to pour. And you're going to walk around the neighborhood, or you're going to have, come down for a quick drink somewhere. It's nice and light, and that's it. I mean, you could probably drink 2 or 3 of these, and
Easily.
it's super smooth. The question really is it fit your palate profile and your budget? Because
Yeah.
for me, that's where I think this one's a little off.
Yeah.
I mean, the taste is pretty good, but not for me for the price range. So I'll agree with you on that. For $100, there's a lot of other bottles I'd rather go for than that. So I'm going to give this one a 2 as well. I think it's worth the quality. I like what John does good stuff. I think it's still a good bottle. Not worth $100. I'm gonna go 2.
Yep.
So I'm having a real hard time with this one. And I agree with what you guys said. So what it's really going to come down, I mean, what's in the glass is what it is, right?
It is.
But it's a grain whiskey. It's not a malt, right? So I wasn't expecting there to be,
Sure.
loads of deep, rich flavors. So if I'm thinking about it from a grain perspective, it does have decent flavor. There's nothing off-putting about this glass whatsoever.
No.
I mean, it is smooth and easy to drink. It's got some nice oak characteristics. It's got vanilla in there. I get a little bit of orange zest. It's better actually with the water, I think. I think it brought out a little bit more of the flavor profile of the whiskey. I think the $100 a bottle is what my sticking point is. I mean, Compass Box puts out a lot of great stuff, and I'm thinking of like Great King Street or something like that, which is
I would buy that.
not
glass.
$100 a
I would too.
bottle.
But
So it's expensive. It is a different whiskey. If you were thinking about trying a grain whiskey, I don't think this is a bad one.
No, this is probably the best grain whiskey I've ever had.
But it's just not something that I think I would go purchase
Yep.
again. So I'm going to stick with you guys. I think I'm going to give it a 2 as well.
Okay.
All right. Let's kick it.
it's cold as ice.
I'm going to come up front and
Isn't it
admit that
ice
I
cube?
don't have the experience with grain whiskey, straight, pure grain whiskey that's not been blended into something else. So I'm outside my comfort zone and feeling and speaking about this one. I'll say I had one other grain whiskey, and that was at a tasting at someone's house. And it was a 35 or 40-year-old grain, and it was absolutely delicious, right? But what I'm saying is,
I remember that.
I don't have enough experience to fall back and say what I should be expecting to taste in a grain, right? So what I can say is it is smooth. The water did sweeten it to me. It sweetened up the nose. I did like that the very short brief of flavor I got. It was juicy fruit. I mean, it really was, but it was very short and then gone. A very drying feel in the mouth. So my thing is there's just not a lot there. What is there? You can tell it tastes. It's quality. I say that because I drink Johnny Walker Red, and there's a ton of grain whiskey in it, and it ain't high grain whiskey. And I know what that tastes like. And this is not that. My suggestion or my recommendation is if you want to venture out into the straight grains, right, where there's no malt in it, pretty cool experiment. It's a $100 experiment though, so maybe you go in with some friends on this to see, do you really like grains? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because of that, I'm going to stick with the 2, and I hate to sound like a broken record here with 4 of us. That kind of defeats the purpose of 4 people giving a review, but that's kind of where I'm at with my experience, and I don't want to push myself too far out of that. I do want to continue the experiment. I want to get more grains under my belt because I want to, and then maybe I come back to this and I say, well, wow, that really was awesome, or it really was plain. I don't know. So I'm going to say 2. I hate to be vanilla on this, but
it's kind of.
But I am.
Kind of
It's
icy.
kind of who I am.
It's getting better, but I'll agree. It's nothing crazy. You know what's cool about this too? I think it's expensive, but it can be really good in the mixer.
I was thinking that too.
Oh,
you
that's
could
right.
make awesome cocktails with this.
Well, and
but who's buying a $100 bottle? of
Right.
cocktails?
That's
the
this
thing.
guy.
well, the thing is, you put the cap on it and let it sit, and then you pop the cap, and you get that coconut. You
Yeah,
get
there's
coconut
coconut there now.
popping out of it.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
But worth $100?
No.
That's
All right,
Not for
man.
these 4 dummies.
So
All right,
it's
guys.
2.0. I can do the math.
Even I can do the math from
Even
that
you
one.
can do the math.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. Please
Appreciate
click
it.
the like button, subscribe button. We are live.
Thursdays.
We out of here.
Every Thursday.
Happy Halloween.
Word to your mother.
See you guys.
Happy Halloween, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.